everybody. Today I'm going to be making a cosplay of my favorite character from Animal Crossing, which is Flick. So this is actually going to be part of a series because I decided the video would be way too long if I put each part into one video. So this first part is just going to focus on how I made the hood because I decided to make this cosplay a hoodie. That way I don't have to like go all red for Flick, and also I kind of like casual cosplays. They make being at conventions easier. So it's just gonna be like a hood that has his mohawk on it and his little spikes. Sewing really does kind of hurt my back, especially when I have to cut my patterns on the floor because I don't have a nice long cutting table in my small apartment. So those are going to be the hoodie, vest, patch, net, and tail. So that's going to be the 5 parts of this series. So this one is just going to focus on the hoodie I made, which is kind of like the main pulling everything together part of the cosplay. Main items, aside from, you know, my sewing machine and the thread that were used for this cosplay, was yellow fleece for the whole entire hoodie. In general, I got it from Walmart for 15 bucks. Yellow fleece, I bought as little as I could from Hobby Lobby because surprisingly they're open now, and I forgot to buy yellow fleece for his horns. So fashion tape to attach the spikes to the hoodie. I know there's other methods I could have done, but I decided to cheat and use fashion tape, and polyfill for the spikes. So yeah, not too much material, just, you know, the other main thing is to make sure you have thread that matches your fabric. And at one point you're gonna see that I had thread that didn't match my fabric because it was at the end of the project and I was just like, oh, my back hurts. So I'm not gonna try and do too much voiceover in this video, mostly because I live in California, it's almost summertime, and I have a very loud window AC. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the pattern I was using. It was from soeasy.com. I'll make sure to provide a link down below. And what I wanted to talk about this pattern is this was a pattern for free that you can print out and piece together by tape. And the only problem with this pattern is it was a little hard to figure out how to piece it out. They really only provided you this small picture on their website of how to piece it together. So basically what I ended up doing was sending the picture to myself, enlarging it on my iPad, and then piecing it together that way, and then you just follow the numbers. The other thing about this pattern is it runs a little bit tight, so I suggest you do 2 sizes above your actual size if you want a looser hoodie in this case, but it's up to you if you like the tight fit. I personally did want a looser fit and then learned that the hard way, but it's okay, it ended up working out in the end. Also, yes, I realize I should not be cutting paper with my fabric scissors, and I didn't really have that realization till after I was done cutting my pattern. Essentially what I should have done is cut out the pattern to my size with regular scissors and then pin it and then use my fabric scissors, but we all make mistakes, and after it seemed like my scissors weren't too dull after. I just gotta remember not to make that mistake again. I just noticed while editing this that I seem to have not filmed myself cutting the hood piece out, which is funny because later on you're gonna notice that I'm gonna have a lot of bad luck when it comes to filming how I did the hood. So I think it's because the hood was the end of this whole process and the camera was just kind of done at that point. So you'll notice when I'm pinning some things, my camera is shaking. It's because it was mounted on my ironing board, which is very flimsy on top of our uneven tile at our apartment. So I'm sorry about that. I said, I had a lot of bad luck recording the hood, but here I'm actually not cutting out the hood, I'm cutting out the liner, which is the only liner I made for the hood aside from the pockets. And that's because if the hood is down, you would be able to see the inside of the hood, and I didn't want anyone to see any seams. This is a point where I started having really bad luck with my hood. My camera died when I was filming sewing the liner pieces and the right side pieces together, and the quality is bad because I switched to my iPad, hence why I didn't do that again later on. Also, my sewing machine kept messing up while sewing the two pieces together, and I don't have any footage of that because it's just me screaming at my machine, "Why are you messing up?" So at this point in the process, I was getting low on fabric. So for the ribbing, or edges as I like to call them, I was scrapping together fabric in order to make it better. I guess 1.5 yards wasn't enough for this particular pattern. The pattern does say 1/1/4 to 1/1/3 yards. So since I kind of ran out of fabric because I did the spikes or just the way I was cutting, I would say get 2 yards of fabric just to be safe. So there's gonna be seams in strange places on this ribbing, just to let you guys know. I could have evened it out, but because it was a cosplay, I wasn't too concerned with making it completely perfect. The pattern was a little bit confusing because it didn't include the ribbing in the original pattern, and it kind of just gave you measurements on how to create the ribbing. So you can either create your own ribbing like I did and have it a little bit off, or follow the instructions that the pattern gives you. There's just another thing I want to say about the ribbing is that the pattern calls for you to use a serge machine. I do not have a serge machine and haven't used one since my first sewing class in college. So you can still use this pattern to attach the base of the hoodie to the ribbons. It's just you won't have the pretty edges like you would get with a serge machine. So because I ordered the zipper online, I didn't know that it was a dress zipper as opposed to a hoodie zipper. The difference being that a dress zipper doesn't break apart at the bottom like a hoodie zipper does. So in the end, I ended up breaking the zipper. It didn't matter because it was a cosplay and conventions are hot and I didn't have any plans on zipping up a hoodie at a convention. Oh shit. So this is also the point where I started having more bad luck with my machine and recording how I was sewing. I think it's because these spikes are supposed to be attached to the hood and it was just more bad luck that came with the hood. So I don't have myself sewing every single all four spikes or the two more if you count the horns on his head. You know, just the bad luck that came with the hood. And of course my back started hurting at this point.
Also, you'll notice after I'm done stuffing that I use the machine to close the hole. That wasn't a good idea and left a weird, awkward shape. I recommend that you hand sew closings like this if you're doing plushies because it makes a more natural, better look. And that's what I ended up doing with the other 6 spikes.
So yeah, I'm probably just gonna have to clip it. I would say the hardest part of this was, aside from cutting out the pattern because of my back, was figuring out how to do these spikes, trying to get the angle right. I do have earrings coming in for this spike. They're just apparently where I ordered from. They're coming in from Taiwan, and you know, everything with shipping right now, understandably, is taking forever. Completely understandable. Like, conventions are going to be happening for a while. That many people gathered in one area is probably going to be a while. So I just made this because I needed to make something for me, and Flick is my favorite character. I really hope you enjoyed this video of how I made this hoodie. The other parts will be coming soon, and I will catch you next time.